Yes, hello guys. I'm Joseph by names. If you're absolutely new to this channel, I do software development and I would like to share some good tips with you guys on how you can implement your skills, how you can learn so easily and become a software developer and actually get a job. My tips are I have many tips for you that are so helpful, and actually you'll get something once you follow the tips. First of all, avoid learning everything at once at the same time. Try to learn something separately. For example, if you're absolutely a new coder, and actually if you're absolutely new, try learning a specific thing. For example, if you're learning JavaScript on a specific point, uh, maybe learning React. If you learned on a topic and you find another topic, just note that topic down, other than just rushing to the next before understanding what you're doing. For that case, it's better you focus on a single project, or otherwise a work that you're doing. Next thing is that um, watch a tutorial as you practice. As you know, in coding, web development, practice is actually something that gains you more knowledge. Uh, Practice is the best thing in everything. Once you finish a project, uh, first 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 have some few minutes or some time to take to do just a practice to see that you have actually learned that short process. In other words, don't just rush the whole tutorial until it's done. Other than just pause a bit and do a practice. In other words, separate the full project into sub projects, so that will gain you more knowledge. In those little projects you build, you'll end up building the whole project and the system. For the next thing is that uh, we should remember to focus. We should remember to focus on a single project. Focus on a single project. Don't rush. Rushing, in others, ends to falling. But if you grab a small something, a small idea, and learn it, other than getting the whole project and doing it without learning, focus on that single part, and you know that you have learned it very well. This will actually gain you more knowledge than the other person that is just rushing without gaining something. Another tip is that think of a project you want to learn. uh, in other words, a project you'd like to make before learning something. If you think of a project like, I'd like to make a music application, I would like to make a text to speech app, I would like to do any certain project. In other words, if you learn of what you would wish to do, this will give you courage, and it will give you more energy, so that encouraging you to read. It will encourage you to put in some focus. If you have a focus, that focus will drive you to what you want. Uh, so, and another thing is that do more exercises. Coding requires exercise and practice. Take some time from coding. If you finish a project, maybe a little project, do some those small parts repeat that small part, uh, and say that you can see that if you reveal that you have got some idea, coding on your own a small part, it gains you, it builds on the top. Each day you add on a small code or a small idea. It will, at the end, you'll end up becoming one of the best. So another thing is uh, fixing an error before proceeding to the next. In other words, you may find that you do projects. In other words, you may finish a project without running a test. In other words, you may find that the project has so many errors that it requires to be fixed. The idea is that fix that issue before proceeding to the next. This will help you and will gain you more skills. In other words, for example, for those working on open source, when it comes to those advanced software developers working on open source is full of errors, since it is worked on by many more software developers. You find that more bugs are there. Those bugs will need to be fixed. So if you practice yourself, if you practice fixing bugs, testing code, it will rank you high in the field of open source. So another thing is that you should avoid this kind of copying and pasting. That is a big problem that software developers do. In other words, they rush. Once they Google to find for something, they just copy and paste. They just end up seeing that the error has been solved, but they don't know how was it how was it solved. But in other words, my idea is that once you find a solution for a bug, first read the whole process, read each and everything and understand. If you understand, it will give you some idea how to fix the other thing on your own, other than copying and pasting. Another thing is that once you learn onto a certain bug, this is more important, and most software developers, beginner software developers, don't know this thing that is so important. This thing is that once you land into an issue, an error, just copy that error, then go to Google and search for that kind of error. You will find that there are many more that have faced this challenge, and you'll find more answers for this issue. The problem is that most software developers spend more time on fixing an error on their own. Don't waste time fixing an error on your own. Other words, give some time, go to Google, type the error that you have faced. There are many more people that have faced such similar error. You'll find that you get some help on the platform. So, an addition that was not among those that I wanted to address to you is that find a community. There are many more communities. There are many more communities. For example, you can search for communities, maybe on Facebook. There are many more communities where you can ask for help. In other words, you may don't know how you can take self-taught software developers is that they lack what they do next. They need a mentor that who guides you on what to read next. You may find that certain communities you may get some help. So that's all make sure that if you're absolutely new, a like would mean a lot to me. And another thing is that subscribe so that you don't miss any next content that is published. So thanks for watching. See you right in the next video.